You know what happens when you have a call and then you're with someone who's also the person on the call, and you're like, oh my God, what an opportunity right now. We're doing all these things together. We keep saying we need to do recordings together. And just so happens that I am trying to untangle my necklaces while also introducing Gina into this space. To say, fuck it, our holy school call right now is gonna be a collaboration between milkweed medicine and the holy culturist. So I'm gonna unplug my fucking headphones. For those who saw that on the screen, I hope you had a swirly experience. Gina left the building on the other thing and entered this building. Zoom boxes are like a temple. So before we get started, I'm just gonna go ahead and say if you're not coming to the thing on December 28th, awesome. You can still sign up. We're about halfway full right now. So, and I feel like it's gonna fill up. So grab your ticket. And if you know someone you want to come with you, share it with them. And if you know someone that might like it, who's around the area, send it to them too. And it feels like we're having another thing to come out to on January 4th, and then a weekend extravaganza January 11th. So those are the things that we have in place. So if you like whatever's about to come out of our freaking mouths, there'll be links to how to join this space, this membership space, as well as like this very collaborative holy school space of claiming a holy culturist yourself, as well as become registered for the event and get a whatever. Go check out Gina, go get some energy work, come get a reading for me, whatever that is. And if you know both of us, hey. All right. So, come closer.
Okay, great.
Great. So this moment in time, we've been in a portal of Mooney,
Yeah.
of Mooney. It's a full moon. It's December 17th.
Mm.
It's in the portal of it. And
Mm.
so I am just gonna go ahead and say shalom to the moon as it's like beginning to it's the wax and the wane.
Yeah. The
Um
waning.
the waning. And also speak about like kind of the vortex that we've been in together. It's kind of a perfect time to speak about the moon and speak about the emotions, but I feel like we can do it through a meditation sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do it that way?
Yeah. Do you want to drop us in and then we
Yeah,
can
I'll drop
speak
us in
into
and
it?
and then we'll do things.
Because you're so good at it.
Okay, well, let's do it. We'll do it together. See, this is what we do. Make shit up. Ah. I hope it serves you. Feel free to leave comments, share it with people you like, and we're gonna do things. Should I play some music? What do you think?
Yes.
We're yes to music. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right thing. So while I'm doing this, for those who are listening in, go ahead and let yourself like adjust, like we're adjusting right now. If you want to grab some water, if you're like, shit, I want to be in private space, maybe you're like, I'm gonna pause this shit and come back here when I actually have the time and capacity to do this, like whatever that is. Clear your throat, start breathing, adjusting if you want a pillow or however your body wants to be. Take a moment to ask your body how it wishes to settle in and let yourself breathe. Hmm. It says I'm listening to from a speaker, but I want to listen to it from this device. How do I do that? Okay. This can be. And as you let yourself settle in, notice your breath. And as you sink into your breath, allow yourself to be with my patience as I figure out why my sound isn't working.
I come from blood.
Very
Now I
interesting.
bleed so thick,
I'm gonna do it
can I
without
move
music.
slowly?
Yeah. Right? Tender, tender, intimate, full moon. This is the sensation of full moon
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Mm.
So just to say that, and I'm shaking it off. I'm putting my hands on my chest and doing that. So okay, let's do this shit. Bare bones. Let your breath breathe. Let your inhales be at a pace that, and we call it a number that feels called, and let you hold it at that same number, and let you exhale at that same number, and let you stay empty at that same number. Let us drop in by some box breathing. So go ahead and inhale to whatever your number is. 1, 2, 3. I hear 4. And hold it for 4, or whatever that number is. And then exhale with your number. And let yourself just be in that routine as long as you can. And let yourself really feel into the spaces between. Like get connected to the sensation and the meaning of your inhale. And get really, really curious about that sensation of being really full by holding your breath at the top. Let yourself play with the exhale of what you're releasing or what you're praying for the world. And let the emptiness, the hold of the emptiness, let you find comfort in it. Let you find yourself able to be empty. Let yourself feel able to be bare, like naked with God, you know? And as you inhale again, remember and bring in like whatever that grounded energy is for you. Like let yourself be grounded in this process. What you're inhaling in, or maybe what's here in your inhale, to like in your exhale, if we were to come back to that, like if you're releasing, what are you replacing it with in your inhale? It's easy to be like, oh, I'm letting go of this shit and then being empty, but then what will we fill it with?
Mm.
And as you sit full again, let yourself really connect to what it's like to die and become reborn, and then to forget and then remember those moments of like spiritual awakening when it feels like we have it all, like we've like our nirvana, that feeling of fullness, feel it and to feel full. And on an exhale, let yourself remember of like the offering you give to the world from feeling this fullness. Like other people who really just thrive and feel happier when you are thriving and happy. The people you make a difference with. And as you lay empty again, whenever that time comes, let yourself be in reverence of your ability to surrender and trust, to be in awe of everything you've been through. And maybe allowing that emptiness to be a place of like, now I'm no longer attached to the way I used to be or the way I used to live or that thing I used to do. Like, what if that empty, that was the bottom, or that was the breakthrough? And then there's a new way of breathing. There's a new way of inhaling, a new light, a new heaven, a new Zion, a new way to create shalom, like a new way to create beauty, heaven on earth, right here, right now. And then let your breath just continue to do that. Hmm. If there's any touch that you wish to do on your body, any readjustment as you settle more into your body, if there's any humming or noises or like I always feel all the saliva coming out, being like literal stuff to spit out.
Mm.
Whatever that is, like let yourself do that as you get more into your body. I find that sometimes when we're so full, we'll like be in an awkward position or something. We don't even know what to do with ourselves, and our body's like, why are we an inhuman pretzel? Why are we not allowing ourselves to burp or belch or to fart or to shit or to drink water or to do whatever else? Like we just feel so full. We're like, I don't even know what to do with ourselves. It's like just fucking breathe. So like allow that to be part of this process right now.
Mhm.
And as we deepen in our breath, I start to feel like this tenderness of breaking open in front of my chest. And so I'm inviting in whatever this scraping is. Like I've been really connected to the, what do we call that thing? This thing,
Raking
the raking of the nervous system.
of the fascia.
Fascia, like the release of how our skin, how, like if we really had an armor, our skin is our biggest organ. I can't imagine the amount of stuff that's like in it.
Mm.
So I feel like scraping at my chest. So I'm going to make some sort of metaphor that I get to be more vulnerable and heart open. So wherever you feel the need to like wipe away, to sit more deeply in your body, allow yourself to like do that automatically. Oh my God. Having so much saliva and my hands are now moving to like roll over my arms. But I'm gonna grab some of this. Which one is me? Is this you?
That's you. Go for it.
Oh my God, activation. If there's any water you wish to drink, ugh, but let yourself rake a little bit in this fullness. Because a lot of the things that we may have aren't ours right now. So,
Mm.
like all of those belief systems, I always have the idea of my belief systems. If I tend to my forehead all the way to my crown and my head, I actually cover my hair to protect my mind. But to actually brush through your hair, there's a Kundalini practice of brushing your hair 500 times a day.
Mm.
But to be able to actually like go through where your brain is and actually give it some love with your hands, actually setting a prayer to like release all of the mindsets that aren't ours, all of the beliefs that we made up because of some event that happened in some way we reacted, and then we're like, I guess that's the way we are now, like I guess this is what we do, to be in the question of what we made up
Mm.
about ourselves.
Mm.
And the fullness, and not to make it wrong or anything else, but just to be curious. And let it slide down your neck. I automatically think of all the cords we're attached to. I always see my cords on the back of my neck. So, um, and on my where my wings would be. So, any physical touch, be intuitive. Sometimes it's a raking, sometimes it's a holding of a certain point. Like I hold a lot of things in my jaw, right below my ears. So my hands are kind of going there just to kind of hold some pressure. And I feel like this is a really beautiful time to bring our reflexology,
Mm.
magical goddess human in to give some wisdom to weave in with mine.
Mm. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for bringing us into this space in the first place of
Mm.
just being in our sensations. I think that's been really coming up with this full moon,
Mm.
like in the fullness of it and the sensation of the fullness, and even being present to it and not distracted by so much of what's going on. I feel like this moon brought us into that winter mode of we have the shortest days of the year right now, at least where we are, and um, the wanting to go within, the wanting to be with sensation, the wanting to be warm and cozy, yet everything in the world is telling us to go, 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 prepare for this, be with family, holidays. Like there's just a lot of hustle bustle. So there's a real fullness in the sensation of wanting to be still, but also really in movement and
Mm.
the intentionality of those spaces and being with them. So um, I feel like from the reflexology or the polarity or the energy medicine point of view, it's a desire for more space
Mm.
to allow for the fullness so it doesn't feel so constricted. It doesn't feel so uncomfortable. It's like maybe just a little bit of a bigger container for what is here rather than feeling like I need to squeeze something out or get rid of something,
Mm,
making something wrong. And while things are naturally falling away in the identity and everything, it feels like it's in the expansion of the identity
mm,
that things get to fall away. It's in the idea that like there could be more space for
mm,
something or things could be different than what they are. So I'm automatically drawn to our joints
mm,
and just going um and the arms are what I was
mm,
brushing as far as like feeling like I'm holding a lot of my own stuff and others and my arms are full like that feeling of having all the groceries and all the bags. So like letting some of that go. So like just going from wrist, like with your own touch, your own
mm,
circuit to like your elbow
mm,
and then like your shoulder and like creating more space energetically in your arms to carry what's already there. So it's more comfortable so you can like easily put something down.
mm-hmm,
You're not just so trapped in it.
mm-hmm,
Same, and you can go like, wrist, elbow,
mm-hmm,
just like creating more space. Um,
mm-hmm,
feels really good. And I kind of want to just do ankles, knees, and hips too, like
mm-hmm,
just create more space in the appendages. Mm.
mm. And with this medicine, I forget how simple it can be to simply hold self
Mm.
and to hold other. Thing I get curious about is all the different ways you can hold the hips, you know. Same with shoulders.
Mm. And like thinking about like a plant. This is the time of year, like I just brought a plant and a beautiful parsley in from
Mm.
outside and just letting it winter inside and wondering like, would it like a bigger pot?
More room to grow.
Yeah. So,
Mm,
and it's like, well, that doesn't always mean physical. It can be energetic and um, emotional or just open out, expanding into like possibility.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Dreams.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm inviting us all to be with our joints throughout this call and to continue moving and tending to your body as we continue on and like part of what Gina and I bring forward is just a conversation to then be curious about because we're in our own experience of our bodies.
Mm.
To actually share a little bit of behind the scenes of planning out this workshop, and we have this longer weekend that we're putting together. Well, there'll be like an option to actually have a journey as well, but it will be really based around like the somatic sensation of being in body
Mhm.
and using music and using each other as muses to be curious about what we're learning about ourselves and to witness one another.
Mm.
Because something that Gina and I have been doing is living together and doing this collaboration. We've been doing it from afar and now in the flesh. It's really beautiful to be in the flesh and see reflections in the in between moments of when we're not talking to each other and not on a fucking Zoom call together, like to witness each other when it's like making breakfast and lunch and dinner and how we deal with other things in life, like all of the in between spaces instead of just the ceremony or just the trip or, like
Mhm.
this is a lot of behind the scenes intimacy. And in that, I feel like we've allowed the space for curiosity and wonder. And I just am so grateful for our lead in being this courageous to be like living like this side by side and then offering it to people. And so, as you listen in, I'm asking you to be in reflection of with the fullness of this moon and the fullness of everyone right now. How
Mhm.
can we be a little bit more compassionate to what everyone's going through with the holding?
Mhm.
Um, with the tension of what this time of the year is and with the commerce world like literally trying to pull us in every which way and then
Yeah.
all of these expectations from other people and it's getting colder and shorter days and we're really supposed to not be doing any of that like if we're
Mhm.
listening to nature,
Mhm.
to be frank, um, it's just a dark time of year. And so in this, there's a lot of darkness being revealed.
Mm.
So if you're someone who likes to journal and you wish to grab a journal, amazing. If you wish to just be with it with your breath, meditation, and moving your body, but really, I'm asking the reflection question. I'm just gonna do some breath while you reflect. And if you want to move your body, a lot of what, I mean, Gina does it really a lot too, but if you feel the sensation to just be able to rock your body, this is the Kundalini practice of just like there's so much in your spine.
Mm.
I know as devotees when I'm singing and drumming, there's a lot of like, so let yourself be with your body and be in motion. This is when I wish I had music, but just
Mm.
if you were to ask your body what it wishes to show you and where you might get to let go of things that just are like silly to still have in your body, that it reveals so. Ask it what action, what ritual, or what thing it desires from me. If you could do it now, do it now. It's something you get to do in the flesh. Do in the flesh. Then ask your body where it's strongest right now. Like where it's like, fuck yeah, I'm on. And ask how it can support the rest of your body.
Mm.
And if the two of that moment of like what gets to be released and that strength get to have a conversation, like let them connect for a moment. Maybe one hand on one and one hand on the other. Maybe you see it in your third eye. I don't know. Let your breath deepen. Let yourself open up. Let yourself feel rooted into your body. Let yourself feel connected to the heaven. And let yourself feel expanded, like of your aura. Like if you could stretch your body right now, like let yourself stretch so that your hands are like reaching up to heaven energetically. Like let your energy just be big. My spine just straightens. And let simply your breath just be like releasing things that you don't have to identify. And inhaling things that you're like, fuck yeah, that's my energy. I forgot. I was giving it away. Yeah. If there's any sounds you want to do, that should automatically go. If there's anything. And then at the end, let yourself really just be drenched in white light. Let it purify you. And just be like, oh, that didn't have to mean any, like, whatever it was. Like, in the end, it's all for love. Whatever we're letting go of, it doesn't matter who it came from and who hurt us or whatever else. It's just like love. So let the white light, have it be forgiveness for whatever we've had, compassion for everyone else, just unconditional love. And then when you're done, you allow yourself to be done by simply like saying it so. Saying it so. And it is done. You know, I'm going to put your hands together and make some heat. And then let it go. So with the fullness of it, I feel a desire to ask a question to you.
Yes.
What is the thing when you fully release of that thing?
Mhm.
What's the new thing that you're grabbing onto, right? Like, I feel like it's so easy for
Mhm.
us to speak of history and be like, I'm letting go of it, but like, what's the new messages you're hearing of your, I don't know if it's your story, I don't know if it's your
Yeah.
self, I don't know I don't know what that word is, but like
I,
whatever words you have.
yeah. I feel like the journey has been a lot for me in letting go of this identity
Mm,
of low self worth, rooted in low self worth, and all the different manifestations of it. And like when I boil down each thing, that's what's at the bottom of it is that self worth. So, um, letting go of ways of being that continue to reinforce that belief system.
mm,
And a lot of the guidance that came up in the fullness of this full moon and like the last month even and leading up to it, the as it was filling with this sense of self-worth and
mm,
um up leveling
mm,
within that
mm,
and allowing myself to give myself the same honor and dignity that I give everyone else.
mm,
Like it just
mm,
yeah, and I feel like in the waning and like the releasing that will happen over the next few weeks as it goes from full to new, um, is like continuing to clear out those spaces.
mm,
Um, and what do I fill it with? I fill it with that embodiment of a more worthy,
mm,
like from within and not from, external validation.
mm,
The external doesn't really touch it.
mm,
It's got to come from within. So,
mm,
um, how do I operate if I'm feeling as though I'm worthy of when
mm,
I've always operated feeling not worthy? So there's a real unknown in that and a fear in it, but it also feels like how spacious. I feel like that saying of like, what if there was no such thing as fear
mm,
for 30 seconds or
mm,
for 3 minutes? Like,
mm,
what would you do?
mm,
And
mm,
it's like, well, what if there was no such thing as that low self-worth? What if
mm,
like I really felt into my worth and value just as a human being and not as a human doing?
mm,
Just that I am alive
mm,
is enough. And how grateful I am to just be alive too.
mm,
When I didn't always think that that would be where I would end up today.
mhm,
So, um, yeah, it's got to be filled with gratitude. Whatever it is has to have a gratitude
mhm,
packaging on it, for lack of a better word.
mhm,
Um, like gratitude is my way out of low self worth into the abundance, into the awe, into taking that center seat in my own life
mm,
because I'm worthy of it.
mm.
So,
Well, I
yeah.
also hear gratitude for yourself.
Hmm.
And I got in the car and I said,
Hmm.
"Oh my God, you're so amazing." And she said, "I know." And she thought I was talking about Joey, you
Someone
going up
else.
there. And I was like, "I said you." And she was like, "Oh." And it's like this whole like, oh, "I'm sorry, I'm not good at receiving." But maybe it is that like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that fucking good.
Fuck yeah, I'm amazing.
Fuck yeah, I'm amazing.
Yeah, it feels really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a stretching moment. It's stretchy. I'm beside you in it.
Hmm.
Like I'm relating and I'm also seeing, and the
Hmm.
actions are
Hmm.
very similar yet different. And the
Hmm.
very, we all are on the same tightrope walking, but really like it's like codes that are happening right now.
Yeah.
And there's a code around belonging and worthiness.
Hmm.
And like if we all just allow ourselves to be home and worthy, then we all would just belong next to each other.
Hmm.
Is the code I kept hearing. Is the
Hmm.
code. If we all just fucking
Hmm. And
own that we are all that godly.
like the gratitude and the awe really is only accessible when I get to a certain level with that self-worth, because as long as I'm in that, I can't feel any of it.
Yeah.
So it's like being in that bridge between.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're a huge thing of my self-worth of saying, I actually, I need more for myself,
Mhm.
you know, and, um, and to step into it. And every single time we do, and then we say we're doing an event, and then it fills up.
Mhm.
And there's something about that I receive in the codes while listening to you is like everyone else is waiting for us to be that pumped about ourselves
Right.
because we pump everyone the fuck up, you know? Like, I mean, we're like, what do we do? Spending our time like
Yeah.
just trying to make good experience for people, like,
So they can, yeah.
yeah, so they
Yeah.
can fucking be in their bodies. Like, that's
Mhm.
what we spend our life doing.
And the sensation, that's the bridge.
Yeah, if following the body
The
sensation.
sacred to the sacred.
Yeah, to the sacred.
And that includes energy exchange, finances,
Everything.
living environments,
Yeah,
relationships,
yeah,
all of it.
yeah.
It's not
And like
just
what, I keep hearing to let go of items that are charged right now. Like even like things to where like maybe it is time to let go of some things, like it's just like in the fullness. Like how can we be a little mm, I don't want to say like minimal, but
Mhm.
it's like what's really important to us because we need to create space. Like there is no more room for something that is the new me
Yeah.
because I'm so full of shit of the old me.
I'm hearing like energetic minimalism.
Yeah.
And what does that
And
mean? It
being
may not
curious
be
of
like
what the new way of living and style and way is.
mm, another emptying,
Yeah.
another undressing, another.
Yeah. And deep trust and faith that there will always be enough.
I'm feeling into this moon cycle and allowing this next cycle to be that, to be the undressing into the darkness, into the emptiness. Like you were talking about when we
Mm,
were breathing, like fully emptying out, and
mm,
then as we come back into the next
mm,
full moon, what fullness, what will be different in the fullness
mm,
after another cycle has
mm.
passed with this new
With all the
energy.
darkness too. Yeah, right. And it's like that when I was listening, I was really feeling into what it would feel like to be completely empty. Like I think of winter of that going inward
Mm,
and people like the preparing for winter of having enough resources to make it through the winter for farmers and the dried
mhm.
goods. And I've always wanted to quest that. That's really interesting. I've always wanted to quest that. Anyways, side conversation in my head that's happening. That's funny.
I feel like
Okay.
there's a lot of jars lingering around for you.
I know there's a lot of jars. I'm just very curious why I'm in the Northeast as it's continuing to get cold. And God's like, yeah, no, stay there. I'm like, okay. Anyways, I get really curious about what it would look like. I imagine like a structure made by human with just a table and a chair
Mm,
and a journal
mm,
and like water and food and like I know that's all the person and like what they would write. Or like it's if they were a writer. If
mhm,
they were a dancer, I feel like we would just have a speaker and or I would just have all my instruments. Like I'm so curious of what would be created in the emptiness of that space
yeah.
in pure devotion
Mhm,
without attachments
mhm,
or needing to show up any certain way. Winter is such a time of like, that's why I'm like, why are we I like having our thing. Maybe I'm now being a little opinionated, but I like having our things as a safe getaway from all of the forcing of we have to go to all of these holiday parties.
mhm,
I don't really like that. Like I'm doing it in a way of like in this time of stress and stress,
mhm,
whatever tension,
mhm.
um, of what it means to go home for holidays or meet new family or not have family. There's so many different perspectives.
All the traveling and the hustle
Yeah,
bustle of
and
like
then needing money,
yeah.
and like getting the right gift and saying the right thing at the table and maybe you don't like any of the food that's happening, like I don't like any, I don't eat meat, like I'm also a Jew. So that in like the whole Christian world, it's a very interesting, like I grew up being like, I hate this time of year because I was just like, what is all this? Like I don't, we were just like,
Yeah.
and it takes over everywhere. You can't go anywhere without listening to music. It's taking over life, whether you love it or not. So,
Yeah.
it's really a time of winter when we're supposed to be so inward right now. And it's interesting how the world has created this capability for us not to. Um, and I've always been really curious. That's the end of, I hope that was appropriate or whatever I just said. You have anything to say after that? I don't even know what I just said now.
No, I feel you. I feel you on um
Oh, I want to be a safe haven. Pretty much, yeah.
it's like the nature of the connections this time
Hmm.
of year too. How like the office party or like the in-laws or it's sometimes it's like we're all of a sudden around
Forced to be around people we're not really forced around.
yeah, or just we don't interact with as much, so it's like
No.
whole nother filling of the energy field.
Well,
In that minimalism of it's like
yeah,
it's taking on more and more and more.
yeah, yeah. There's something that we've been practicing in a way, and I feel like it's something that I wish to bring to the field of holidays and seeing people that you normally don't see and extra energies and everything else and history.
Mhm.
Something that I feel like I hear a lot when I'm like in deep and ask for forgiveness
Mm,
and ask for the cords to actually be cut for me not to have like such a taking it personal response to people,
mhm,
or like they're supposed to love me a certain way or whatever that is, family shit,
mhm,
and ex-husband shit, like to be in forgiveness. And I always heard like when you're ready to completely re-meet that person
mhm,
and not come in with any of your assumptions,
mhm,
then there's the possibility. Until that, it's your job. Like if I keep responding from a point of like this person is always going to be this way, then they're probably going to do that action because I'm thinking it in my mind and I'm probably poking at it instead of being grounded and open and just being like, I'm so much more woke than I was like 10 years ago when that stupid thing happened over Thanksgiving or
mhm,
Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever fuck it is,
mhm,
but how can we not go in thinking we know how someone's going to respond and be open and tender and also compassionate to that process? And I've been in the curiosity of it. And there's been some people I've been able to completely re-meet, but those are the only times I've been able to completely create new chords to those people. So I've been in deep curiosity of like, we can do chord cuttings all day, but we're so used to the pattern of what they feel like.
mhm,
So if there's any way to clean out your system before and actually take breath, make ritual, sit in an altar and talk to God, whatever your act is, to really ground yourself in newness of like, I can't wait to find out what I find out about my husband, wife, mom, dad, child, grandchild, dog, cat, great uncle, weird aunt, like whatever you're seeing right now, like the children, whatever the people that are triggering the fuck out of you right now.
mhm,
Like, what can you learn new about them and how can we
mhm,
be more open? Um, and so I'm in that I want to be along that practice. It's much easier for me because I'm pretty separated from my blood family right now. I'm seeing some people from when I used to live here in New York, but it's something to even live in a house and see a lot of people multiple times. Like every day I'm seeing them. But when I actually take space, I can see how far each person has come since I've known them in their own journey, you
mhm,
know? Um, and so I am just inviting that. So maybe this year can be different than last year and every other year in the fullness and recreating the whatever this Gemini fragmentation, recreation, whatever these feels like we're all breaking apart to come back together.
mhm. Yeah. And you said something earlier in your share,
Mm,
much earlier, that I just wanted to come back to if I could, which is I don't know why I'm here in the Northeast when it's getting colder and colder. And then you just continue to talk about connection and relationship and how we can interact. And um, I was just seeing that like you've been with the land for a while,
Hmm.
and then now you're here with the people,
I
which
knew
is
I'm supposed to be a bridge right now, but it's been a really interesting question of like
yeah.
where, huh?
So I just wanted to like that was really
Thank you.
coming through strong for me that I wanted to share back to you.
Thank you.
And yeah, I just want to um, remember that the sensation is where all the information and the healing is. And so as long as I take that minute to take that breath, to
Mm,
touch my elbows, to touch my
mm,
wrists, whatever it is, just
mm,
take a minute to just remind myself like I'm here with you, and I
mm,
got you. And what are you actually feeling right now? And what do you need? And usually it's this really simple, beautiful, free thing that we can do to just and then
mm,
and then intention, right? Like you can step away, set an intention, and step back.
mm,
And that's been really coming through strong too.
mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. As you were, I just started thinking about transitions as you were speaking, and I started seeing movement, and we went and we played at a yoga spot, and we played with some music, and Gina, the choreographer, is coming back to life, and
It's been dormant for a really long time.
yeah, and the dancer and the whatever. I mean, I feel like it was a beautiful and this voice thing came out. I guess I have never been a singer, but this is happening, so that's great. So we're doing this experience around the full moon too, and it was beautiful, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And when I think of the transition from the fullness of the moon to right before the full of the moon to as we go down the spot, like in the transitions of the joints, I think we've added, I think of pillows, I think of resting spots,
Mm-hmm.
safe spots. So, like, how we treated ourselves in the space between was like,
Mm-hmm.
we went to bed early one night. We also had a mystical fucking adventure to Brooklyn and went to a, a Sabbath dance. Anyone in New York, you should go to that shit. It's in Brooklyn, I think. Hopefully I'll tag shit. Okay, Sabbath dance, brah. Lawrence something. Anyways, we did that, but we also did like making food in a new way. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
all of these side projects
Mm-hmm.
of really like filling ourselves up with inspiration to have the courage to be that expressive. It was two songs that we took that were so expressive
Mm-hmm.
and feels like we were building up and now coming back down from. Like even this talk right now is like integration from it and yesterday morning
Yeah.
with the sun and moon in the sky together. So, in this time of this month, I'm really asking for those transitions to be times we tend to, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
In the Jew calendar, it's the month of the dreams.
Mm-hmm.
My dreams have been not kind, and that is okay. And it's been really showing me a bunch of shit that I said yes to. Like I said yes to living in Slab City. I said yes to what happened in Slab City. If you don't know what happened in Slab City, it's okay. And it's the old history of who I was and how I was sick and the all of those things. And that is not who I am today. That's not who I am. And so I keep to see and cry through all this stuff and be like, wow, I am not that little girl who would just be like, I'm so helpless and all these bad things are happening to me and I can't do anything different. Instead, there's like some sort of responsibility in what I'm worth. That means I have to fight for my necessities. I need to fight for my worth. And it's not even fighting, it's just claiming it, fighting the inner, dreamland. There are dreams that happen where an angel shows up and the angel looks like you and you're wrestling yourself. It's also God. So if you're not a Jew, like if you can be in that metaphor
Mm-hmm.
of like being in a dream of seeing another version of you and you
Mm-hmm.
guys fight to death, but really it's like God that you're wrestling. It's your inner God. And so I really feel myself doing that of what is me and what isn't. And this is also a time when like the dream interpretations, it saves, it's the savior of the day. And so really using our dreams in this time of a lot of darkness to really rest and be with it. I've been God wrestling and I can't sleep
Mm,
through the night and I kind of am finding comfort in it.
mm,
So if we can, instead of making it wrong, like I feel like I should be sleeping right now instead of being like, wow, I'm supposed to like really be present to all of this stuff and feeling it through and having these long, slower mornings and well, having more smoke medicine, like whatever the fuck it is, like can we just greet ourselves that in this time of winter with this all of these other holidays and the secular calendar ending and beginning again. Like there's
mhm.
so much space in Portally right now. So as a transition, I'm calling in my own dream ritual before,
Mhm,
and I feel like a morning ritual. We already do that, but I feel like I'm feeling called to be to add to element, evoke, make it deeper, make it woker, whatever that is, but
mhm.
to play with it a little bit more. My dream rituals because they're very loud. So thank you for this time and space together. I hope that what I've shared on here supports. But I want to ask Gina if there's anything that you feel like you're giving yourself as life work from the call.
Yeah, I feel like what's coming through with the body wisdom
Mm,
is also with the joints, like
mm,
rejoining,
mm,
rejoining. That feeling of disjointedness, that feeling of too
mm.
many tabs open, that feeling of fractalized, that feeling of I have too many windows open and bringing it all, and it is that like that is the emptying too.
I saw this moment when you were speaking of like, I wonder what movement it would be do what would be doing. What movement I would guide people into playing with. Like for me in the arms, like to actually be with how much we're holding and be with the beat and like find your wings again, and
Mhm,
like shake it off. But then I was curious about like in life, if I'm sitting there and I'm just walking, I'm going to freaking New York City today, if I'm like having a moment how I can do it in a way that feels like just for me and
mhm,
isn't so dramatic.
mhm.
I automatically feel like I need to like push my arms back and let go. Like that's my mode. And so when you talk about body sensation, I get curious of what acts to share with community because I feel like we just find our own way.
Mhm.
But that's kind of an example of an energetic release of just like even opening up the chest and taking a moment of breath and being able to take the stress off the arms
Yeah.
and actually setting the prayer of letting it go can be a really beautiful thing for yourself. So I just kept thinking of like, and if I were to add music into it, I feel like it would get kind of like, ding, ding, and if you can't see, I'm
Yeah.
just swirling, like, I wonder how we would guide people in our thing of a weekend of like being with their thoughts. In Kundalini, there's this thing of like lion's gate, you like actually pulling the gate,
Mm,
and in meditation, you're saying heart, 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 and you're in like 7 fucking minutes. So you're seeing all the shit. Your eyes are focused on your crown. So if I were to think of shaking everything off,
mhm.
um, you can find your own way with your body, but I feel like that's the beauty of what's here is that just inviting people to play with your body
Yeah.
and see how it responds to X, and allowing it to express itself. Um,
When you were grounding us in the beginning of
mm,
the call in the meditation, I was sitting and I wasn't really full body moving, but I always get this activation lately, and it's like the wing spot, and it feels painful and it feels like burning.
mm.
And it comes up in times, in meditative times, like there's something there that wants acknowledgement. And I just started like kind of feeling into it and brought in the elbows, and it was almost like the wings that I always feel like can't fully express, like came out and like wrapped around me. And it
Mm.
was like this wrapping around. It was like this wrapping around, like I was having that sensation. So like I was really into, excuse me, like the elbows of like bringing the wings up and over. It's almost like a protective, comforting. I don't know. like allowing them to do their job,
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That felt really good.
Yeah. So that was coming through during your meditation. So you're just sharing about that. So thank you.
So I feel like this, I mean, I rarely do this,
Yeah, it feels
this
good.
motion. Maybe I do this, but that's like more of a,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you can't see us right now, we're like, thumb, armpit, or above on your shoulders, but then twirl your shoulders like,
Circling them.
yeah,
And Lord, bring them together in front of you
and
and then
together,
opening them
and then
up.
opening them up.
Like let them be a physical representation of like your wing. Kind of just gets in that part of your back. Yeah.
No, automatically just wants to put my hands together in prayer and just put my head lower than my heart so I can be humble. Hmm.
Rising in
Oh,
self-worth through humility
yes, and grace.
and grace and gratitude.
Yes.
Doing the damn thing.
Doing the damn thing. Okay. So with that, this feels like a completion.
Mm.
And if you wish to share anything or have any prayers for the cycle of the moon going from full to empty of things you wish to release, please share them in the Substacky. If you wish for anyone else to kind of have this channel, to have this channel that just came forward between the two of us, amazing. If you would wish to collaborate with us in different ways, there's all the information below. And Rosh Kodesh, happy full moon, and you are so loved, and you are so holy, 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 holy. I was looking at this other thing. Okay, bye.